Oh my God. Hey y'all, this is Shawnti Refuge. For those of you who don't know me, I am an award-winning master certified mental health coach, mental health advocate, keynote speaker, and author. And I am coming to you today because I just finished listening to Oprah's podcast on estrangement. And let me tell you that she did say a lot of things people needed to hear. She named the grief, the emotional distance, the silent suffering, the layers of confusion, and that part absolutely necessary. But let's talk about what she did not say, because there were some pieces missing. Some truths that only people who've lived this experience deeply, painfully, personally could understand. So Oprah talked about the emotional weight of estrangement. But what she didn't dig into is the identity crisis that comes with it. Who am I without this relationship? The guilt that hits you at 2 a.m, the anger that pops up out of nowhere, the wondering if you made the right choice, even when you know you did. She talked about the grief, but she didn't talk about how grief and relief can exist in the same breath and how that can make people feel ashamed. She talked about separation. She didn't talk about the rewiring that has to happen after years of dysfunction or emotional neglect. How your body still reacts to old triggers even when your mind knows you're safer now. She talked about accountability, but she didn't talk about the parents who refuse to acknowledge what happened, or the children who refuse to acknowledge what happened, or the adult children who shut down because they never felt emotionally safe, or the cultural and generational trauma that makes these conversations feel impossible. She didn't talk about the mothers who are hurting, not because they want control, but because they genuinely don't understand where the relationship went wrong and have nowhere safe to process it. And that's why I created Mothering in the Dark, because estrangement isn't just emotional, it is psychological, spiritual, generational, and deeply personal. So, Mothering in the Dark is where we talk about the stuff that Oprah didn't unpack, like the shame mothers feel but never say out loud, the repeating cycles that didn't realize they inherited, the grief of watching a child heal without you, or vice versa, the fear of reaching out and being rejected again, the layers of regret and confusion, and the hope. Yes, I said the hope that still sits under all of it. This group is not about blaming mothers or villainizing children. It is about truth. It's about awareness. It's about emotional safety. It's about accountability and compassion coexisting in the same room, because it's possible. And when Oprah talked about how both sides have to show up differently for healing to happen, I wanted to stand up and clap to that, because it's so true. You can't have the mom on this side healing while the adult child is on this side still hurt and not willing to heal and only wanting the parents who suffer. But she didn't speak up to the mothers who are doing the work in the dark, quietly, privately, alone, trying to understand themselves so they don't repeat the same patterns, because there are mothers out there like that. So, and that's who Mothering in the Dark is for, because sometimes estrangement isn't a clean break. It's a confusing, non-linear journey filled with love, hurt, boundaries, healing, and the hope that maybe one day repair is possible. And if Oprah's episode stirs something in you, if it opened a wound you thought healed or touched a place you haven't had language for, baby, don't sit in that by yourself. You don't have to. You deserve community. You deserve guidance. You deserve a space where your story isn't minimized or misunderstood. And that's exactly what Mothering in the Dark is. It's a place for honest healing, emotional support, and real conversations about the parts nobody talks about, not even Oprah. So if that hits something in you, if Oprah's episode stirred up emotions you've been carrying by yourself, then it's time to step into a place built for mothers navigating this exact journey. Mothering in the Dark is where you get support, clarity, healing, community, and real conversations with other mothers who get it. If you're ready to feel seen, held, and understood in a way that you haven't in a long time, comment the word mothering and I'll send you the link to join. You don't have to walk through this by yourself.